Hello YouTube, it is your boy B3, back with another kicking action figure review. We are reviewing the last DC figure I have to review right now. It is the McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman Negative Earth 1 and Superman 2-pack. So this 2-pack kind of re-releases Batman the Devastator and the classic outfit Superman, which I believe was actually supposed to be Action Comics 1000 Superman, with some minor differences, which you'll see in a bit. I've been seeing the single-carded Devastator going for about what I got this 2-pack for, so I figured, hey, that's pretty cool. Plus this 2-pack has some neat stuff. But I'm kind of considering selling the Superman, so we'll need to open it up and see if he's one I want to keep or one I want to sell. It all depends. But yeah, you can see them in the box. You can see it comes with a big old stand and stuff for him. DC Multiverse. Batman Earth 1! Ugh. Sorry if I do a lot of like weird grunting and stuff. I broke a rib, so movement is painful. Here he is on the back. Little product shot, plus lots of other figures you can get. There's the McFarlane designed Batman, which was an easy pass for me, but I do want the Wonder Woman. We have Red Sun Superman, which I'd like to have. The Drowned, which I have reviewed already. Robin, which is an easy pass for me because I have the icons. And a Flashpoint Batman, which I really, really want. I've seen the unmasked one in stores, but why the hell would I want the unmasked one? So you got the Batman Earth Negative 1 Superman, Dark Knight's Metal. So yeah, let's bust these two out of package. And here they are out of package. The Batman from Negative Earth 1 and Superman. So Superman doesn't have a multiverse designation, or I guess what would now be an omniverse designation. Can't wait to explore that omniverse some more. But I assume he is supposed to be the main continuity Superman. And if that's the case, he's very inaccurate. They kind of cheaped out and just gave us the same Superman with a couple different parts, like it's a different head, which we'll get into in a sec. But it's really the same Action Comics Superman figure, pretty much. Just with very slight differences. And he's just not accurate. It's not the right suit. This is more of a classic suit, Action Comics 1000-y suit. But I believe in Dark Knight's Metal, it was the first Rebirth outfit before continuity fusion with New 52 and pre-New 52 Superman. But even if it was post-fusion, it's still inaccurate. I can't remember off the top of my head which one it was. I think it was pre-fusion. And it's neither of those. Like, I would have actually loved a Rebirth Superman of either Rebirth outfit in this scale. I think that would have been dope. That would have made me twice as excited to get this 2-pack. Because I actually really like both the Rebirth Superman outfits. And I was so hyped for the return of pre-continuity Superman and being married to Lois and the John Kent Superboy stuff. I loved it all. But then you think, oh, it's probably the Superman from the universe where Batman turned himself into Doomsday to take out Superman. But I looked that up, and it's not true. It's the first Rebirth Superman outfit in that universe. That's what Superman's wearing in Earth Negative 1. So it's not accurate to the Devastator's home universe either. The Superman is not accurate. We're going to take more of a look at Supes in a sec, as well as the Devastator. First, we're going to show off accessories. Two of the standard DC stands that we get with every figure. I kind of think it's nice that we get a little basic stand like this with every single figure. I think that's a good call. We also get 2 trading cards. These trading cards actually, quite factually, have kind of product shot ACBA type stuff as the images instead of comic book covers. I think that's because Action Comics 1000 Superman and Devastator already have comic book cover trading cards, and they could have just given those to us metallic I think that would have been fine. Kind of like the metallic flash card in the Red Death 2-pack. But I guess they reconsidered. And they couldn't show an image of Superman from this universe or Dark Knight's Metal, because then everyone would realize, uh-oh, he's in the wrong costume. So they just showed the figures. But, you know, it's fine. I think the cards are cool. I think they're a cool little inclusion, to be completely honest. They're very fun. But as someone who also really likes trading cards and even has a tabletop gaming podcast called Tabletop Recap, you know, I might be a little biased about the cards. But still, you know, I think they're pretty neat. Let's take a look at Superman first, because I feel like people will care less about the Superman, which is why I want to get him out of the way. It's, once again, functionally the same figure as the Action Comics one. He's kind of got this angry, grabby hand now. And he also has a very angry face. That's probably the angriest face I've ever seen on a suit. Jeez. I don't really like my Supermen to have angry faces. Like, most of my Supermen probably have neutral head sculpts, but the ones that have, like, happier faces, I think Superman figures should be happier. And he does have a head sculpt like that in the original single release. But they gave him an angy one, just like they did the Flash in the Red Death 2-pack for the kind of reissue, the metal reissue. You know, I don't like it. I don't like the head sculpt. It looks like he's almost straining too much, you know what I mean? Like he's dropping a deuce and not just angry or fighting, you know? Like, a little strained fighting is fine, but that's like a little much. Even if this was on like an evil Superman figure, like Overman or something, this would be much. I like the metallic on the S. I actually think that really makes it pop. I think that was a really good choice. I think the cape is sculpted in a cool way. I wish adult collectible figures would just invest in cloth capes. It looks like, at the time of I'm recording this like a day or two after the full official reveal of the Dark Knight's Return Batman in armor figure, and it appears to have a cloth cape. Just give us the cloth capes. Like, for Christ's sake, give us the cloth capes, unless there's like a need for it to be like this. Cloth, please. We just need to start investing in the cloth capes and stuff, and cloth skirts on female Power Rangers. And I mean, the Black Series for Star Wars has no problem with cloth, you know? So, I think other toy lines should really adopt that. But I mean, at least it's sculpted in a cool, billowy way. Peg holes in the bottom of the feet for the stand. I am going to show you articulation right after I point out some kind of detail things. He's got like the kind of cuffs on the side for the rebirthy thing, because once again it's the Action Comics 1000 look. And but I also feel like his legs are really skinny. Like, you see what I mean? Don't his legs feel skinny? He looks like one of those like 1920s bodybuilders that like really focuses on the torso and stuff. But like their legs kind of get ignored, so they have like this weird upside down pear shape almost, you know? Very odd. Articulation wise, the head goes up, but not far enough to really get a good flying out of it. Even when you like push the torso and stuff back, you can't really get him in a good forward flying pose. You know, I think the torso movement and waist movement are actually fine. McFarlane has like these kind of joints here in the arm connecting to the torso, and I actually think these are really cool joints. Actually, my favorite thing about these McFarlane DC figures is this joint, articulation wise. So that's pretty cool. Forward and back, in and out, bicep swivel, a single elbow bend, which seems odd, you know, because lots of adult collectible figures in this scale usually go for double these days. So having the single bend is strange. It's strange. It makes more sense on the Devastator, and I'll show you why, but it feels really strange on Superman to only have a single bend, you know? Rotation on the wrist, forward and back, and that's a turnable joint as well. I kind of like the kind of plastic cover they did for the underwear, so it impedes articulation less and covers the joint more. I think that's a good choice. I've seen NECA do some stuff like that before. That's a good choice. In and out on the leg, forward, even a little back. There's no thigh swivel on McFarlane figures, which is a bit of a bummer, but to be honest, it's not that bad in my opinion. A lot of people go kind of berserk over that, but I don't think it's that bad. He does have a double knee bend, thankfully. There isn't a boot swivel. I'm not really concerned with a boot swivel, to be honest. Like, if you had to say, if someone came up to me and was like, I have to cut a joint, thigh swivel or boot swivel, which would you cut? And I'd be like, boot swivel, probably. Because oftentimes we have articulation down on the foot that can compensate for it. Just like this one, you've got articulation kind of above and below this joint rotating. It can kind of give us an ankle pivot, forward and back on the feet, you know. And that toe bend, yeah. But I mean, he stands pretty well and stuff with his articulation. I can't... There are just as many things about this Superman that I dislike as much as I do like. Like the inaccuracy to what the 2-pack is trying to represent is a little lazy. It wouldn't have even taken that many changes to just give us a rebirth Superman, to be honest. And it might have sold you a few more packs. Just saying. Articulation could be better. I feel like McFarlane has been improving with their DC line, but since this is kind of just mostly reused from like a figure from their first wave, it lets you see how far they've come, but at the same time it's like, okay, yeah, not a lot's going on. Plus the legs are too thin and the head sculpt's weird. Now, before we move on to Devastator, I just kind of want to break it up by showing you this awesome stand. Yeah, so I showed you the single stands. These stands are for both of them. Like, Superman kind of goes on this side. I think you're supposed to, like, put the Superman on this side and Devastator here, because you can see that's, like, obviously a big footprint for Devastator. There's a peg in there for him to stand on it. That's where Devastator's foot goes. Superman doesn't really have a spot for his foot. There's this hole here that looks like you would put a flight stand in there. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. But mine, there's no flight stand in my box. I actually saw that peg hole and I was like, oh, maybe there's a flight stand hidden in my box. And I looked over and I looked it over and I looked it over and there isn't one. I don't know if I got a jank box or what, but there's no flight stand in mine. And I'm not even sure if they're supposed to be. But, like, Superman can kind of just chill on here, but there's no peg for him or anything. So it's like, how exactly do we do this, you know? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work out. So it's like a cool diorama piece. You can see like the spikes, like the Doomsday Bone kind of on the ground, which is such a cool look, but displaying them together on it's going to be a bit difficult because there's a spot for Superman doesn't have a spot for Superman, which is very odd. I'm just going to put that in my stand box over there. Now we're getting to the part you all want to see. The Devastator. Yeah, he's pretty cool. He looks like he might be a bit of a lighter coloration with maybe some heat vision painted on the eyes. This one seems to be a bit more of the same figure than the last. You know, detail and paint-wise, I think he's really good. I like the ripped pants. The bat symbol from this universe is just really cool. Take a gander at that. Lots of different grays and stuff all around. Great texture all over. Yeah, there's a reason this guy went up in price. That's because he looks so cool. And you can see he's got like red paint on the eyes to make it look like he's going to use some heat vision or something, because Doomsday has that now these days, which I think is fine. You know, the more powerful Doomsday is, the better. It could be a bit more prominent. I don't know. Like, if you're going to go for it, go for it. You know what I mean? But articulation-wise, this Hulkin boyo is pretty cool. A little up and down on the head, side to side. You know, not terribly much going on with the head. because it's, you know, just tiny and kind of on the front like that. But he does have jaw articulation, which is one of my favorite things that figures can have, especially monstrous ones. So giving him jaw articulation, like, that's 100% something McFarlane didn't have to do. They could have not given him jaw articulation, and most collectors wouldn't even have thought about it. Jaw articulation on like a superhero, supervillain figure? No one thinks about that. Like, if it was a kaiju figure, everyone would be like, where's the jaw articulation? But on a superhero, supervillain, anti-villain, anti-hero kind of thing, no. But they gave it to us anyways. And there's an articulated tongue in there, but the tongue can move independently of the jaw, but it moves with the jaw as well. And to be honest, it's mostly just there to kind of give you a floor of the mouth, and also something on the bottom of the jaw, to kind of just keep it from being empty. You still have that joint I was kind of sucking McFarlane's dick for earlier. You can see all that movement forward and back. You got a nice up and down. You see he's got a single elbow bend, but it makes a bit more sense because he's so thick, you know. And then there's the rotations on that instead of the bicep, which I think is pretty helpful. This guy's engineered well. And you've got forward and back on the wrist with a rotation. Pretty cool. Waist and torso, that's the same as usual. In and out on the legs, forward and back. You know, his torn pants hinder a bit, to be honest, but, you know, it's not to not be expected. You know, you can turn it out. There's no thigh swivel, but you can turn it out real well, so it's all okay. Once again, thigh swivel is something that I feel like would improve these figures, but it's not something that I'd terribly miss. He's got the knee bend. It's just a single knee bend, which once again makes sense because he's so thick, but he does have a boot swivel. You know, he's got ankle pivot. Up and down on the feet, but the joint isn't turnable. And he can articulate those big old suckable toes. Would you like a foot job from this bad boy? No, you would not. But yeah, that's it for Devastator. I had a lot less to say about Devastator because I had a lot less complaints. I feel like people are probably happy to have the Devastator re-release because he got to like 40, I'm seeing him for like 45, 50 bucks in package. So I feel like people are just happy this 2-pack exists so they can get Devastator, which is exactly my POV. In fact, I very, very much hope that Wonder Woman and Merciless get one, because I have the Merciless arms, but I don't want to buy all the other figures, I've decided. But I guess I should just build Merciless. But I'd also like some more Wonder Woman figures, so if Merciless came with a Rebirth Wonder Woman, that'd be great for me, because I'd really like a Rebirth Wonder Woman in my collection. And then I'm getting the Hal Jordan Dawnbreaker one too, because Hal Jordan and Dawnbreaker, neither of which I have. Dope. And now we're going to do some size comparisons. Here they are with another McFarlane figure, also another character from Dark Knight's Metal. It is Batman the Murder Machine. And as you can see, they look pretty cool with him. Devastator is too small. Let's get it out there. That's the biggest problem with Devastator, is he is too small. But I think that's because they really wanted to make him a single release and not a Build-A-Figure. Like, McFarlane's weird, because they do Build-A-Figures sometimes, but not most of the time. It seemed like when they started the line, they wanted to do Build-A-Figures, and now they've kind of moved away from it, and they're going towards deluxe figures anyways, because you got the deluxe Snyder Cut Steppenwolf and Darkseid. Getting that Darkseid, by the way. Because I'll get any Darkseid. But yeah, I think he's moving away from him, and that's why they wanted to make Devastator a single release, even though Merciless wasn't. And I don't know. It's hard to explain. I'm just assuming that he's smaller for that purpose. Money is always the, final motivator, the first and final motivator. But yeah, so Devastator is a little small. You're just gonna have to deal with it. You want a bigger Devastator? You're likely going to have to get a custom made out of like a Hulk figure or something, which would probably be pretty cool, admittedly, but it would cost you a good bit or a lot of time or money. But yeah, they seem to scale well with their own line. Just keep in mind, Devastator is small, but as long as something scales with its own line, it's a success. And Superman scales perfectly fine with Murder Machine. Here they are with a figure from the now eliminated DC Essentials line from DC Direct DC Collectibles, which as a toy manufacturer and stuff doesn't even exist anymore. DC canceled them, took them out. They weren't, I guess they just weren't making a profit because their figures often fall apart and they just release the same characters over and over. Anyways, here they are with the DC Essentials Classic Superman, which is the same scale as them, the regular DC Direct, like 7-inch scale. He's a little less bulky and a tiny bit shorter than this Action Comics Superman, which is totally fine. To be honest, this is kind of my go-to Superman these days. I really like this DC Essentials Superman. I like his articulation far better than the McFarlane one here. I like his proportions far better than the McFarlane one. I like the expression on his face and his hands better than the McFarlane one. The McFarlane one I think has a better cape sculpt, but other than that, I prefer the Essentials one 100%. And his cape doesn't really get in the way as much as the McFarlane one either. But the trade-off is that it's smaller, you know? But yeah, I mean, I think they scale fine together. Him being less bulky and stuff actually makes him look a little better with Devastator than the Superman that came with Devastator. Plus, once again, his legs are more in proportion with his torso. So, that's that. So all in all, what are my final thoughts on the McFarlane DC Multiverse Dark Knight's Metal Batman Earth -1 and Superman 2-pack? Well, if you missed out on the Devastator and really wanted it like I did, this is actually a must-get. Once again, this is the same price that I saw Devastator going for online when it came out, and you get like double the stuff you would have with regular Devastator. Technically more than double with the big like Doomsday Bone stand, which is cool, even though it doesn't really super duper have a spot for Superman because I didn't have a flight stand. So once again, I don't think it's supposed to come with a flight stand, which is somehow worse, but just keep in mind, did not have a flight stand. But yeah, the Devastator figure is solid. The Superman leaves a lot to be desired. I see why people weren't into this figure when the first release came out, which I skipped on. And I'm glad I did, especially since I have this guy now. I might even just sell this Superman. I kind of don't really see the reason to keep him around, especially since I don't like his head sculpt, proportions, and I have a classic Superman that I really like in this same scale. If they would have given us the Rebirth Superman in either outfit, I would have been stoked for that much more than this one, because it's also just straight up inaccurate. And I know I kind of don't care as much about the inaccuracy. The main reason that I'm focusing on the inaccuracy so much is because I know a lot of action figure collectors really care about that. I care about it a little less. I mostly care about it because it's kind of a cop-out. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bit of a cop-out. Hey, let's just take the Superman and functionally give him a new head and one new hand, and that's it. And I know it's like, oh, well, they basically did the same thing with Devastator. Yeah, but Devastator, you know, there are tons of classic Superman figures to choose from that they've been making over the course of decades. Devastator, McFarlane was really the only real choice, you know? So them, you know, giving us a second chance to get Devastator, I'm really thankful for. I just wish they would have put a little more effort into the Superman. You know what I mean? I kind of had some of the same things to say about the Flash, but I feel like the Superman one is more disappointing, because at least the Flash that they re-released in the Red Death 2-pack, like, at least he was accurate. He was the right Flash costume, you know? This is not the right Superman costume. And that Flash figure, I think, was actually a far superior figure to this Superman. But at least this Superman's re-release in the 2-pack and the release of the original figure, at least there's a huge gap between them. With the Flash one, it was like the single release came out and then the 2-pack one came out right after. But this guy had a huge gap, so I at least appreciate that they, you know, it wasn't like an immediate re-release at some point, but a big space between them. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The Devastator is the MVP. Maybe the single-carded one will drop in price and become more affordable. But if their price points for the single Devastator and the 2-pack kind of remain close to each other, just get the 2-pack. Like, why not, right? I mean, you could maybe sell the Superman to get a little of that money back if you really don't want him. But I mean, if you don't have a Superman in this scale, this one's fine. Like, I wouldn't call it an awful figure, but there are better choices, is really all I'm saying for the Superman. And it was kind of just a lazy re-release. Kind of just like the Flash was, but in his 2-pack. But that is it. Thank you all very much for your support. Sorry I focused on Superman more than Devastator, because I feel like Devastator is really what the people came to see. But, yeah, I have a broken rib, and I'm going to go lay down because I'm busted up, and I got to work in the morning. Anyways, which is not going to be fun. That's it. Thank you all once again for your support. And I'll see you all next time when we review an exclusive fancy Power Rangers figure.